Hello, I am Sandra Lee with miracleinspirations.com, the Breathe Life's Inspirations blog. I have been doing a weekly video blog about your health on stress and what you can do. And today is the 17th day in this 17-day publishing sprint doing Facebook Live, except for one day in the middle there where Facebook Live wasn't working. I've done 17 days, so 18 days with a one-day break in the middle, I guess you could say. I am going to continue on weekdays after this for at least a little while, talking about not just food and eating, but ask me anything about anything. So it can include food and eating and other topics. On Monday, I am talking more about intermittent fasting and fasting, so addressing more questions about that. Today, we're talking about detoxification, more about that. And then I'm going to talk about like foot positioning and bone density and a whole range of other things will be coming. So, after foot positioning and bone density, I've put in nutritional ketosis, which is going to be a good follow-up topic to the whole fasting discussion. So anyway, that's what's coming up soon. If you have more ideas, things that you want, then let me know. Share these lives with other people. I know it's been really wonderful having a couple of people share the posts. So get more people here watching, and who knows how long I'm going to continue this. It's really going to depend on how engaged people are and how many people have questions, want me to share stuff. Now, talking about detoxification. So I have been talking about how when you start the whole intermittent fasting piece, spreading your meals out, cleaning up your diet, that is going to result in your body naturally going into a detoxification cycle. And when I was talking about fasting and intermittent fasting last time, I was talking about how when you have your body needing to turn to fat to fuel itself, when you don't have an ongoing supply of blood sugar and carbohydrates to run on, then your body has to start burning fat. And you burn initially the fat that your body has consumed in food, but when you run out of that, your body starts going and cleaning up the tissues in your body that have been in storage, the fat cells and other tissues as well. So that's when detoxification becomes a bigger issue. So when talking about fasting and intermittent fasting, I was saying that the toxins in the body are often fat soluble. And when your body has them circulating around, it needs to get them out of circulation, because the whole time you have toxins circulating around, you're being poisoned. So I'm kind of repeating this because the more often you hear something, the more it sticks, right? So if you hear these things multiple times from me, you're going to remember more of it this time than you did last time. So I'm going to repeat myself. Okay, so you have these toxins, both fat soluble and non-fat soluble, I imagine. I mean, I've never heard anybody talk about what happens with water soluble toxins that your body isn't able to just excrete. Like a lot of them, your body might just be able to get rid of them through your urine and your sweat and your feces. But anything that your body isn't able to get rid of through those immediate channels, okay, of the detoxification, urine, feces, skin, breathing. Those are the ways your body gets rid of toxins. Okay, so if there's anything your body's not able to get rid of, it puts into storage. You can think of fat cells as being fat cells and fat tissue, fat deposits, as being long-term storage for whatever it is your body's not able to get rid of that it wants to get rid of or needs to get rid of. But in the immediate term, since it's actively poisoning you while it's circulating, your body needs to get it out of circulation. And so putting it into fat cells is a really easy way in the short term for your body to do that. Reduce the impact now with the hope that at some point you, the person, who's living in this body is going to clean house and enable your body to go in and find those toxin deposits in the fat cells or other tissues where they may be and remove them and get rid of them. So we talked about last time, we talked about this intermittent fasting thing, about how when your body is pulling these toxins out, it's doing it pretty much every day when there's toxins. And so if it has a layer of fat tissue, right, that it's stored in those fat cells, and then it lays another layer of fat tissue in and another layer of fat tissue in with toxins layered in at the same time, right? So you have a fat deposit in the body that's got toxins laced throughout. So when you do your intermittent fasting or whatever way you're doing to get to help your body clean house, and your body goes through these fat cells and pulls all that stuff out of there a little bit at a time. And you want to do this gradually, right? So it's like, imagine who people just go on the, they're just starving themselves and they're forcing their body to consume the content in those fat cells, okay? And you're releasing huge masses of this all at one time. That will make you sick because you have a large amount of toxicity being released from these fat cells all at one time. So you're going to have symptoms. Okay, detoxification symptoms can be headaches, muscle aches, body aches, mental clarity issues, being tired, maybe constipation, diarrhea, smelly feces, smelly urine. You might have itching and stuff coming out of your skin. All those detoxification symptoms were things that I mentioned before. Okay, so it's like doing things to support your body and actually excreting those toxins is helpful. So making sure you get enough water, you're diluting. And so when you dilute, you're diluting the impact. Okay, making sure you have enough fiber and enough food in your system that helps your bowels to move. Right, so it's like you don't want to eat things that are causing constipation during times, particularly when you're detoxifying, because that's going to make it harder for your body to eliminate those toxins. And I said before that if your body's got toxins that are circulating and it's not able to get rid of them, then it's just going to store them. Your body doesn't know the difference between toxins that have come in newly from your current exposure and toxins that were released from long-term storage by being released from your fat tissue. Your body doesn't know the difference, right? It just knows there's toxins circulating. We need to get it out of circulation because I'm being poisoned. Okay, so if you have released toxins from your fat cells or other tissues, okay, or another thing, okay, so it's like we talked about yeast the other day. Okay, and if you have a candida overgrowth, a yeast overgrowth, and you are going through a candida diet to be able to get rid of the amount of yeast, you're going to have die-off of those yeast cells. This may also happen with other bacteria, pathogens, parasites, and things like that, right? If you have something that's got a cellular body, right, that's alive, and you kill it, you make it so it's not alive for whatever reason, whether it's because you starve it, like with the yeast, or you take an anti-parasitic, right? So it's like if you have a parasite living in your body, worms or amoeba or whatever, okay, and you take something, whether it's, herbal or pharmaceutical, to kill whatever organism is living in your body, parasite, whatever, bacteria too, right? You have something that's alive and it's got a cell body, right? When you kill it, cell body breaks open and all the contents, all of the garbage inside that yeast cell, amoeba, worm, whatever it is, that's all going to be released into your bloodstream. So you're getting poisoned by this stuff, giving you more toxins to be able to release, right? So if you're fighting an infection of some kind, understand that part of the symptoms you experience may be from this detoxification effect. Same thing with parasite cleanses and getting rid of parasites. So all of those things are going to result in your need for your body to detoxify. So it's not just releasing stuff from long-term storage. Didn't mention that. Okay? But understanding that all of those toxins, if your body is not able to actually excrete them, they will go into storage. and your body has to, you know, then go another time, clean out those cells and excrete them. The same thing happens with medications. We talked before about how medications are still poisons, right? They're chemicals that your body doesn't know what to deal with. You might be taking them for a beneficial reason, but your body, just like any other toxin, has to get ab circulation. So you might have not taken that medication for many years. But when you are in a phase in your health journey where you are pulling out some of those fat storages, maybe because you want to change your weight, or you're just changing your diet, or whatever reason your body is going in and pulling tissue out of fat cells, okay, understand that medications also may have been stored in those fat cells and may be coming into your bloodstream. So it may be like you're taking that medication again, which, depending on what the medication is, could have a whole range of different effects. Okay? You've also got, chemicals that you may have applied to your body, chemicals you may have been exposed to in the air. It's like all these different things are all going to be stored in your cells, and your body's going to be getting rid of them. Okay? Detoxification can also happen anytime you are doing anything that is ultimately healing and beneficial. So it's like I do biofield tuning, right? So it's like where I use tuning forks to help people's bodies be able to heal and release trauma from the past, right? So a very highly recommended practice following receiving biofield tuning sessions is to take an Epsom salt bath, or a salt bath, or do a salt scrub, or, a detoxification foot soak, right? Something that supports the body in actually being able to release and get rid of whatever toxins may be released. So it's like whatever healing practice you may be doing, engaging in, can be causing this detoxification to occur. Not necessarily just eating, right? Anything you are doing that is healing. This can also be exercise, right? So it's like as you exercise, your body's using up blood sugar, and it may be going to stored fat to be able to provide more energy. If you are only, your metabolism is only accustomed to burning blood sugar, and you exercise, you might actually have one of those energy crashes, those blood sugar crashes. But if you are fat adapted, which is what we're talking about helping people become through this intermittent fasting we've been talking about, your body's fat adapted, meaning it's able to go from burning blood sugar to burning fat for fuel. Okay? So if you have an athlete who is a sugar burner, meaning their metabolism does not easily switch over to burning fat, then they're the people who are going to crash. And if they're in a marathon or whatever, they're the people who need to eat along the way because they get hungry because they run out of energy. Okay? But I'm assuming that we're talking about athletes who are actually fat burners, able to readily switch over from burning blood sugar to burning fat for fuel, right? So you have sustainable energy, right? So it's like there are people who run marathons who are keto adapted, meaning their bodies burn fat readily, and they can do a whole marathon without having to eat anything. Drinking water, yes, but not requiring any nutrients, no food to keep going, because their bodies easily turn over to burning fat to fuel themselves. And again, fat is like the log on the fire. It's sustainable energy for long periods of time. Okay? So, but I was talking about detoxification, right? So it's like if you have an athlete who is engaging in this sport activity, whether marathons or just, playing baseball or going running or whatever, if the body is turning over to burning fat for fuel, there can be some detoxification that happens from that. Toxins released into the bloodstream. Now, it's possible that because of the athletic activity, the body is maybe going to be a little more efficient because there's more circulating, more burning of stuff, that they may have less detoxification symptoms. But it's also possible that some of the achiness that people experience following exercise, particularly if they're not accustomed to exercising, part of that might not be from the pain and exertion of, doing the exercise and muscle soreness. It could be that some of it is detoxification. We don't really know. Okay, but just understanding that doing things that support detoxification will help with any of these things. Okay, so it's like in biofield tuning, the detoxification support that we always recommend is first making sure you drink enough water. Okay, and taking an Epsom salt bath, doing a salt scrub or something like that. Another thing you can do for detoxification support is skin brushing. So it's like activating the detoxification mechanisms in the skin by just using a dry brush or a loofah or something like that to do that. That supports detoxification. Okay. Breathing properly. Basically just enhancing all of the normal detoxification mechanisms. However, if you are planning to engage in something that is really releasing a lot of toxins, there's benefit in taking nutritional supplements that bind the toxins and help them to actually be excreted through the colon. And a common, well, maybe not so common one, that is one that I recommend is something called modified citrus pectin. Modified citrus pectin is a binder that will attract to toxins, and heavy metals in particular can be difficult to really excrete, right? So it can bind those heavy metals and toxins and help your body be able to actually release them, like get them out of the body altogether. So you don't have this whole issue of storing them and then having to go and pull them out again and storing them. Because if you don't do something that actively supports the removal of the toxins, it can be a back and forth thing. Store, release, store, release, store, release, until your body is able to actually get rid of it. Now, another thing you can do is support your liver function, because the liver is very critical to the process of detoxification. There are 2 stages of detoxification that happens in the liver. So the liver, I don't understand the mechanisms of this entirely, okay? So I'm just kind of making it up here. But first stage detoxification takes a chemical, let's just say a pesticide molecule, okay? And the liver attaches something to this and changes it, changes the chemical to the chemical makeup of the toxin. And so it's not exactly the same as it used to be, but it's also still toxic. This first phase of detoxification in the liver actually makes this chemical more toxic than it was before first phase of detoxification occurred in the liver. So the liver attaches something to it, changes it a little bit, makes it more toxic, but that's what has to be done before second phase of liver detoxification can occur. Okay, so it's like liver attaches something to it, changes it, brings it forward, so the second stage of detoxification can occur, and that's what enables the body to actually take this toxin and release it and get rid of it. So your body needs to be able to go through both stages of liver detoxification to be able to remove toxins. I think this is probably also true for heavy metals. This also happens for like hormones after your body is done with them, right? So it's like the hormone is a chemical. You know, I think it's protein, but I'm not positive about that, to tell you the truth. I think hormones are proteins. No, they're not proteins. They're on a base of fat. Hormones are made from cholesterol, so it's not a protein, okay? If I'm wrong, it's quite possible. Anyway, hormones are, your body takes cholesterol and changes it, makes chemical changes to turn it into a hormone that then performs a function in the body. A hormone regulatory something or other in the body. That's what hormones do. They regulate functions in the body. But it starts with the base of cholesterol. Okay? But after your body is done using this, say, estrogen molecule that it has made to perform a function, right? It needs to get rid of this old estrogen molecule, and that goes through this whole detoxification process in the liver. So if your body is overloaded with toxicity, and your liver and your elimination systems have been struggling with getting rid of the toxins, the liver's been struggling to get these toxins through first stage and then second stage detoxification and getting rid of them, if your body's overloaded with that, then you could be having more issues with hormone balance because your body has not been able to adequately process these old hormones, and you may be having issues with estrogen dominance or just a whole range of different hormone issues can occur if your liver is so gunked up because there's so much toxicity that it has to deal with other things, that it's overwhelmed. It's not able to perform an adequate amount of detoxification with the leftover hormones, right? So it's like when you get your detoxification system all backed up, then you're going to affect a whole lot of different things. Metabolism and energy levels, right? Hormone balance, plus just general health, because you have this load of toxic load in your body that just gets overwhelming. And if your body is just having ongoing immune loads from all this toxicity and stress and all of that, then its ability to handle whatever it is it has to deal with is compromised because the immune system gets overloaded and it says, I can't handle it. And it may just like stop being able to function very effectively at all. So just understanding that this detoxification is really important. Supporting your body's ability to detoxify. And you need to be able to detoxify even if you don't have exposure of chemicals that are not good for us. If you don't have exposure to heavy metals and that kind of stuff. Just normal metabolism has an ongoing amount of detoxification that's needed. Anytime your body has to repair something that's injured, right? That creates, metabolic toxins. It creates stuff that your body has to clear out and get rid of to be able to return to normal function. But if you're supporting your detoxification system and if you limit the incoming, right, the stresses and the toxins and the chemicals and the heavy metals and stuff like that coming from outside, if you minimize that, then you support your body's ability to be able to maintain its health and get rid of stuff as it comes around. So when you eat an overall healthier diet, getting rid of the processed foods like we were talking about, getting rid of the GMOs and the chemicals that go with GMOs, right? So it's like when you clean up your diet, the diet is the biggest source of foreign materials and foreign chemicals that your body has to deal with. So when you clean up the basics of your diet, you make it easier for your body in general to be healthy and to manage the detoxification that has to do on a daily level just for normal health. So, anybody on that has questions about detoxification that I can answer right now? If nobody has a question here in the next minute or so, I'm going to sign off. All right, so not doing Facebook Live tomorrow at all. First day in this whole sprint where I'm not doing Facebook Live. Okay, but on Monday, I am talking about intermittent fasting and fasting again, followed by foot position and bone density and nutritional ketosis. Okay, so Monday, talking about intermittent fasting and fasting will be the next step in this whole talking about fasting stuff. Then nutritional ketosis will be the next piece. All right? So, thank you. This is Sandra Lee with miracleinspirations.com, the Breathe Life's Inspirations blog, and this Facebook Live publishing sprint complete. So this is the end of Ask Me Anything About Food and Eating. We're going to be moving to Ask Me Anything in general after this. Okay? Share with your friends, give me comments, ask questions. Appreciate ya. Have a great day. Thanks. Bye.